Ahoy Rum Explorers, I'm Nia, I'm a rum enthusiast, and it is rum time. So today I have once again, Jason, the River Pirate 13. Thank you so much, Jason, for being on my channel again.
Anytime. You know I'm always there for you.
Thank you, I appreciate it. So if y'all remember, we did this review, which was incredible, and then I sent them some samples of the Forgotten Casks, which is this one. And then I sent them a one of this one, which is the vintage 2009. I am so excited because we've rescheduled this like 4 times. Our schedules are crazy. If you're not on the cruise, I'm traveling and we're both crazy working. So I'm happy we finally made it happen. So should we revisit the legacy one?
We can. That's all. The only one I have is a Forgotten Cask left.
So. No worries, but you still remember the vintage 2009, right?
It was perfect. Yes, it was very smooth. It wasn't. How can I put it? It didn't have a lot of burn to it. It was very, it was just right. What can I say? It was just right.
So just to remind everybody, this company is very well known for their art of blending. So basically, I'm gonna go quick, just once over their fermentation, distillation, aging, and blending process, so everybody's up to date with that. So basically, they use molasses, water, and specific yeast. They let that ferment between 36 to 42 hours. After that, they also simultaneously grab sugarcane juice, water, and cultured and wild yeast, and they let that ferment for 72 hours. And they grab those 2 juices and then put those through distillation through a pot still, which they call the John Doerr 1, another pot still, the John Doerr 2, the Vendome pot still, and then the coffee column still. So both juices go through that entire process. After that, for the aging, they put some of the juice on ex-bourbon, some of the juice on ex-bourbon reach hard, and some of the juice on port, brandy, and white and red wines. And then at the end, they blend all these beautiful rums that have been aged, processed, which come from both molasses and sugarcane juice, which is super interesting. I don't know anybody else that does this. Do you?
Never heard of it. That's pretty phenomenal. They're kind of cutting edge, though. You know what I mean? They know how to make rum. That's all I can say. They just know how to make it.
Yeah, it's crazy. So just to revisit the mix that they put in this one, which is the Legacy, they put a little bit of the John Doerr, the column medium plate, the John Doerr 1 and 2, the Vendome, and the column lower plate. And this one is aged 5 to 6 years. So I definitely want to revisit this one. I literally have not drank this since we had it together.
Oh.
Ooh, that's still a good pop.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love that. Remember, we were like, oh my God, we're going to have to go to St. Kitts.
Yeah.
Between the history and the rum, we're sold.
Yeah. That's because of the pirates that took over the island on the north end. I forgot his name again. He was a peg leg pirate.
Pata de palo.
That's it. That was it. You got him.
It smells amazing. Okay, I'm down the hatch. Cheers.
Cheers.
Definitely, you could tell the port cask, huh?
Definitely.
So smooth.
It is, and it has just the right amount of that. Yeah, of the molasses flavor. Yeah. It's not. Yeah. You don't think you're drinking syrup. Let's put it that way.
Exactly, and I don't think they add anything. But as always, let me triple check. It's crazy for a 43% rum. You do get a little bit of a hug, right?
Yes, there's a little bit of a hug, but it's so mild. It's
yeah.
I mean, it's if usually someone asks me what that heat feels like.
Yeah.
Just take some Captain Morgan and drink that neat, and you feel your throat on fire after about 1 second, this is totally different. This doesn't have any of that. It's smooth. It just got a very gentle, I love it.
But there's a very long linger in the back, which is great. Okay, so
Definitely.
the nose is incredible. There's a lot of like, I'd say like dried fruits, a little bit of
Yes.
toffee, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And for me, it kind of smells like a little bit like brandy-ish, like that sweetness to it.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's got that brand, just that whiff of brandy kind of.
At the beginning, right? And then
Yeah.
as it evolves, you're like, okay, then it smells like a regular rum. And
Yeah.
then on the palate, it's so complex.
And what gives it a more of that rum flavor is a little bit of sweetness to it that you wouldn't get with like a brandy would never have this kind of sweetness to it at all.
No, never. Yeah. It'll taste more like fruits. Well, like the brandy, depending on what they made it with.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna cleanse my palate. We were just talking while I served myself the Forgotten Cask one. So we were talking about the hurricane, huh? Both of us had fair weather with it. No issues, luckily. Your coconut coconometer. What are we gonna call it? I don't know.
You're gonna laugh at this. The coconut actually cracked. It actually has a crack in it from the wind. It cracked. It caused it a crack to open up on it. And luckily, I have a spare coconut. I don't know. Am I kind of weird just having a spare coconut laying around? I just do.
No.
I gotta swap them. I gotta swap the coconut out from the weather station.
That's crazy.
I was like, what's Mike's weather page gonna think? Oh my God, he had to change on his coconut.
Well, you gotta do what you gotta do because you need that to see your weather, right?
Just in case the next storm shows up, you gotta be careful.
Okay, so this is the bottle for the Forgotten Casks. This one's really hard to find. So if you do find it on the shelves, this is one. I went to this random liquor store in Boca, and I remember we had been talking about it, the Chairman's Reserve, but the Legacy, I think we were talking about it. And Phil too. Phil gave me like a list of rums that he wanted. And I was like, do you have the Legacy? And he's like, no, that's literally the only Chairman's Reserve. I was like, oh, what the heck? Let me just get it. I think it was like $40, $45. I was like, okay, I'll get it just in case. If the Legacy's good, Forgotten Cast sounds like it should be good too.
Yeah.
So let's see if this has a little pop. Ooh, mini pop.
It's okay. It's still popped and it's still a cork.
Yes.
When,
So
when,
this
when,
one,
when you twist the cap and it just goes.
yeah. This one smells more like sherry casks.
Yeah.
So this one says that it's pot and column still blend. It is extra aged. So let me look at the specs for this one because I'm interested to see.
Yeah, it's a crazy story of how that happened. I mean, it's one of those things where you got a big, what do you call it, a distillery, and you got all these warehouses, and one burns down, and there's barrels of stuff they forgot about, and it just aged the whole time. They're like, oh, wait a minute, we forgot about these. We left these over here.
Yeah, so this one, the Forgotten Casks, is saying it has the column lower plate, juice from John Doe 2 and column medium plate, and it's aged between 6 and 11.
Yeah.
But the other one was 5 to 6. This one is almost double. It's 6 to 11. They're really rich in color, huh?
Yeah, they're great. I love and it's not fake. That's the thing that's so hard to understand. It's not a fake color.
Okay, so this one, let's try it out. Look at the color, beautiful. The nose smell, this one smells more like a bourbon, right? To you?
Oh, absolutely. It's very much like a bourbon.
Another one more like a port wine or.
Yeah, this one's definitely got that bourbon smell to it.
Okay, cheers.
Cheers. Cheers to St. Kitts and the pirates that found
Kids. Wow. Wow, that's incredible.
I know. I got lost in the taste. I like it so much.
Yes. That's incredible. Look at those legs too. They're like just like they're true 12-year-old legs.
That's why I'm so sad I can't get another bottle of it, or at least I've not been able to find it.
Well, I'll keep an eye out for you for sure. That's incredible. And the taste, it's really sweet ending, huh?
Yeah, very sweet, but very smooth. It just has it just shows what happens if you age rum in a barrel and you don't add anything to it. You just let it naturally. Angel's what do you call it? Share gets out of there, and it just has this great flavor that you just can't reproduce. You just can't. It's amazing. I love it.
That's incredible. Wow. That's a good find, huh? A random good find.
Yeah, I'm so jealous you found a bottle. I couldn't believe it. I was sitting there thinking about it. I saw it and I thought, oh, you know what? They got a bunch of bottles of it. I'll just come back later and get it, next week or whatever. And it was gone. And then I was desperate. I'm thinking, oh my goodness, this is ridiculous. If you see something, if you see a rum that's kind of says Forgotten Casks or anything on it, you better just buy it now, because if you wait, it might be gone.
Especially for the price point that I found. Anything like below 100, if I know it's good, I'm going to take a chance on it.
Yeah.
That was my thought.
Yeah, that's why, a lot of times I look at it and I go, I don't know if I want that, and I have to weigh it and go, you know what, I really want to taste before I buy it, kind of thing. I just have that thing about it, because a couple times I've bought ones that I just didn't like it, and it's just like, oh. But this one is a gem, and it's.
And do you get that oiliness at the top of your palate too? It's like very butterscotchy.
That's it, butterscotch. You got it right there. That's the flavor. I almost want to just like message them and say, hey, can you lose some more casks? I mean, just kind of forget about them.
Yeah, can you forget about them?
I'll reach back to you in about 10 years and we can, talk about it.
Oh, this is incredible.
I love this one.
Yeah, this is great. Okay,
thank you so much for sharing it, because other than that, it would just be memories.
Of course, I'm glad we're able to, experiment with this together. Maybe we can make it to Sangusha together too. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Very good. Good stuff. Love it.
Okay, I'm gonna cleanse my palate and move on to the vintage reserve. So this is also from Chairman's Reserve. This is ex-bourbon barrels. Let me see if I can. This one, the label looks pretty fancy too. It has like a bunch of stuff on there.
They put the gold medals on it, just letting you know that they have won a bunch of stuff. And it did.
They have the Master Blenders signature on there, which is pretty cool. I'm excited for this one.
That's one
crazy.
That goes good with cigars, by the way. That one goes good with cigars. That's why I don't have any left.
You don't have any more left? Okay, let me cleanse my palate real quick.
And I highly recommend a Nicaraguan cigar. I don't know why. It just makes it work.
Yeah, last cigars I've been having have been from Nicaragua. I've been on a Perdomo kick. Have you had Perdomo cigars?
No, I've actually had what was it called? Was it Camacho? Camacho? It's got the scorpion on it.
Yeah.
Camacho is and it was rum soaked.
How was that?
Nicaragua. It was everything a shot of rum would be if you could burn it.
So it was like a smoky rum shot.
It was oh my god, the one that it was. I know the leaves, they must do something with the whatever, but it was so smooth, it burned so even. I was like going, this is the best $12 I've ever spent in my entire life. This is
wow.
This is like heaven, And I know there's more expensive cigars, but this one was, man.
Yeah, it's all about what you like.
Yeah.
This one I'm getting a little bit of like nail polish smell. I'm sure because it's evaporating. There wasn't a big pop on the bottle. So I'm agitating the spirit to see if I can get that alcohol and chemical. Not that it has chemicals, but you know how when you freshly open some vintage bottles, you get that nail polishy smell.
Yeah, because it's got that, I don't know, it's like ethanol alcohol. It's kind of like if you hear the alcohol right away, it's like,
Yeah. So I'm letting dissipate. Now this one, they don't have anything on their website for this one, but this one was just released. Was it 2 years ago? I think it was 2 years ago. And it was crazy because they released this one during Christmas, and they had a special where if you bought 2 bottles, they would give you free shipping.
oh, wow.
So that's how I bought the Legacy, and I bought this one, and I think I spent maybe like $100, $103. It wasn't bad at all.
It's a good deal.
So it says the rums are aged independently for 11 years
Yeah.
in ex-bourbon barrels before expertly blended by our head blender, Denny Duplessis. They're reintroduced to the oak for a few more months in order to perfectly incorporate. So this one to me looks a little bit more muted, more like on the champagne side versus the Forgotten Casks and the Legacy.
Yeah. Yeah, that color on that one isn't as, I don't, when I say color, I don't think the richness is there. It doesn't have that, you know, I don't know, maybe it's just because it didn't soak as long. I have no idea. Maybe the barrels make a difference. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe they were like older barrels that they put it in.
Yeah.
I was curious about the 2009. Did they bottle it? Did they blend it? Like, what was it?
Yeah.
Was it, I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and try this one. Okay, this one. So the alcohol smell definitely has dissipated a little bit more, but it has a funkiness of like a rum agricole, but like an aged rum agricole. Okay. There's absolutely no burn, no hug. It's very smooth. But honestly, I kind of like the Forgotten Casks a little bit more.
Oh man, that is like the, man, that's, I wish these distilleries would forget more of their casks. I don't know.
Right? This smells like an exotic fruit too, a little bit.
Yeah.
Like a tangy exotic fruit, like maybe like some dragon fruit, something like that.
And if I'm just going off memory, I remember thinking to myself, man, there's kind of like an apricot thing going on with this thing. You know, it had that's the kind of fruit I kept thinking of, but God, this has this kind of like this whiff of apricot in it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But the first sip, it was like I was tasting an aged rum agricole. It was getting that funkiness, that grassiness of it.
Sure.
But pretty impressed. Glad I got it. Glad I have this in my collection. I bet this one would make an amazing old fashioned.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt at all.
The Forgotten Cask needs sipper for sure.
I would even think your little smoky thing you put your smoke.
Yeah.
You did that, I bet it would go off the chain.
Yeah. Middleton's Reserve. I have a affiliate link down below if you want to go ahead and scoop that up. It's really easy to use. It's so simple. And I love that they do these little packages with these little metal tins, and they send you multiple flavorings of the different smokes. So sometimes if you're in the mood for sherry and mesquite, like different types of woods, you can have that option to smoke your spirits however you want.
Oh, yeah.
You want something extra smoky, you have a couple options in there. But this is great.
Yeah, the one thing about rum that you know, when you look at all the different spirits, you've got vodka, bourbon, rum, gin, you got all these, you know, spirits out there. And rum is always kind of treated as kind of like, you know, I think people think of it as like Malibu, they think of Captain Morgan, they think of Bacardi. You know, when you talk about bourbons and whiskeys, you know, then you're talking about Angel's Envy, you're talking about Four Roses, you're talking about, and I always think in my head going, well, you know, there are rums that are high end that go toe to toe with any of those other ones. And, you know, yeah, those mixed cocktails, boat drinks, yeah, they taste great with Malibu. I mean, I'm never going to turn those down. They taste great. But the reality is some of these rums are, you know, like Chairman's Reserve. It can go toe to toe with most of them. I would tell somebody that's a big bourbon drinker that they try that. They might not think, man, this is rum. This tastes so good. Wow. I had no idea. And it's kind of one of those things that rum's work, kind of fighting its way into the, get the street cred, I guess, street cred with in the spirit world.
And we'll get there. We'll for sure get there, especially when they're coming up with all these designations to countries. Like the GI just came out for Barbados, and Jamaica has their very special way of making and designating with Jamaican rum. I don't know if you knew this too, but I recently found out that Venezuela does that too. So for it to be called the Venezuelan rum, it has to be distilled, bottled, and processed in Venezuela. Like you cannot call it a Venezuelan rum without that. We all know about the AOC and all the French-speaking islands.
Sure.
So, it's coming on up. They recently showed a report too that rum was the #1 seller in the UK. So it'll get there. Give us a good 3 years. So don't knock it till you try it. If you ever need any samples of anything that you're interested, please DM me, email me. I'd be happy to send you if you're interested. If you're a bourbon whiskey lover, I could definitely steer you the right way. I'd be happy to help you out. And thank you so much, Jason. I'm glad we were able to share this.
I know, I'm just so jealous about Barbados. I'm going to the Dominican Republic in December. And, I'm going to be bringing a lot of rum back. I hope the Port Authority doesn't stop me, but I'll pay people off so they look the other way.
Yes. And if you go to Brugal, which I'm sure you're familiar with.
Yes, I've toured their facility, and then it made me very sad. And you say, Navigator Nia says, River Pirate, why would you be sad there?
Yeah, why would you be sad?
Because I'd be sad because when I saw that I could buy their rum for like $9 and I'm paying almost $30 over here, I'm like, what's wrong with this picture? And then I find out that 70% stays in country and 30% stays in Hispaniola. And I thought, these people love rum. I need to move here.
But when you go to Brugal, they have it's higher end than the 1888.
Yeah.
If you see one that's called Leyenda, Leyenda, get that. It's phenomenal.
I saw it, and I'll be absolutely honest. I looked at it and thought, what? They're not gonna let me taste it before I take it, and it wasn't as pricey as I'm sure it'd be over here if I was.
Yeah.
But I was looking at it going, man, that's sweet, and I thought, and there's rum in Grand Turk. That's actually got a great history. I don't know where they're getting it. It's from Guyana. Don't tell anybody. But yeah, it's really great. It's great to go to these other countries, ground zero, and try it. And I tell everybody, that's the one thing about high seas piracy. We go to their best ports and bring the best rums back. I know it's easy to go over to the liquor store and just buy it there, but sometimes there's just something about going somewhere and trying it. And that's the thing that you're going to get I'm so excited for your experience with those distilleries, because there's nothing like being right there, fresh.
Yeah, and I'll be videotaping as much as I can, so make sure you hit the subscribe button. I am going to record the distillery tours. Subscribe to Jason, the River Pirate 13. I'm sure he has a ton of reviews coming up. You also do amazing reviews of your cabins. Isn't that cool that he gets to film all these? So if you ever have any doubts of what the cabins look like, he has some amazing videos. He gives you the full tour. Christina's his Vanna White showing the cabin.
Yeah, and you don't want to see me in the cabin because yeah, you just don't. It's one of those things, but it's fun. It's fun to go on a ship on the high seas, and the captain says, "You're not going to take over the ship, are you?"
Oh, so do they say that?
And I won't take over anything.
You're the expert in this type of vessel. I'll let you do what you do best. Well, thank you so much, Jason. I am definitely going to try to see you next year. Thank you, as always, for being on my channel. And I look forward to the next Rums.
Hey, cheers. Cheers to Navigator Nia. If you want to, she does all the best rums. Absolutely.
Thanks, Jason. Cheers.